got this painting of a lion that I finished a couple months ago, so let me show you the techniques that I used to paint it. And I'm just going to be focusing in on the subject on this one, so this is what the painting looks like before I added in the background. The surface that I'm working on here is a clay board, and I'm using an airbrush with acrylic inks. These are Schmincke Aero colors. So let's get started on this one. Like always, I'm going to start with the eyes, which is going to kind of get everything in place, and then we're going to build out the painting from there. That's a cropped section of my completed painting on the left side of the screen, and the first thing that I'm doing here is using the color sepia to spray in the pupil. This paint is reduced about 20% with distilled water, and I'm using a circle template here to line up with the pupil and spray a very light amount of this paint in here. I'll zoom in a bit here so you can see this easier, and then for the lower part of the eye, I'm using the shield that has a semicircle, lining it up and then spraying some paint down. You can see that gives us a sharp edge in there. I have my graphite lines drawn in, so those are always going to be my guide. I'm following those for the placement of values, where they start and where they stop. There's this very thin highlight within the shadow along the right side, so I'm going to use my soft eraser to draw it in so I don't lose the placement of it, and then I'm going to use this sepia freehand to start spraying in these darker values. I added in the right side, then continue that up to the upper left-hand side of this eye, and then I blocked in the placement of where this tear duct is going to be later on. You can see that I just very lightly painted in the edges of that darker value to the left and to the right, just below the eye. Also going to continue using the sepia to spray in the center of the pupil. It's going to help darken it and also soften up the edges. You can also see in my completed painting that there's a specular highlight within the eye. It's a reflection of the light and it goes right through the pupil. So I'm going to draw it in with my eraser now so I have the placement of it in. And while I'm here with my eraser, I'm also going to do some cleanup, remove some overspray within the eye and around the edges. And then I'm going to use that sepia to spray right in the center of those two lines that I painted in earlier. This is that darker value below and to the left of the eye. From here, let's move up to the darker values above the eye, essentially where the eyelashes would be. I'm going to use that sepia to spray in both edges, the top and the bottom part of it, giving myself the softer edge in there. I sprayed some paint on top of the iris, and then I went to the eraser to remove the overspray from that specular highlight. And then I'm just going to continue spraying more paint in here to help darken everything up. The more paint I spray, the darker the value is going to get because there's no white within this mixture. Now the basic form of the eye is in place, so I'm going to add some color within the iris. I'm using the color Brown Brazil, that's from Schmincke Aero colors, and I'm spraying it directly from the bottle. It might be hard to see in the video here, but I sprayed a little bit more of this color along the top left of the eye, so that part's a bit darker. Now from here, I'm going to use my soft eraser to remove some more of that paint from that specular highlight. And if I notice that eraser isn't removing enough paint, I'll switch over to a more aggressive one like I'm doing here. That'll help remove more. And when that color is down, I want to add some texture into this iris. So I'm using an aggressive eraser and I have it sharpened to a very narrow point so I can draw on all of these thin lines. They radiate from the center of the pupil out to the end of the iris. So I just lightly draw them in with a very light amount of pressure. This way I can get some thin lines that are not too bright. I'll go back to the color sepia and use the airbrush freehand to map in the placement of this darker value below the eye. I'm leaving a gap here where we have a highlight later on. I'm going to spray a glaze of color over the top of this, but before I do that, I'm using my eraser to fully remove the overspray within this highlight section. The color in my airbrush now is about 75% Brown Brazil to 25% of Cad Orange. I'm just lightly spraying this over the top of everything. I'm trying not to direct this paint within the center of the eye, just trying to focus it around it to darken up this whole area, but you can see some overspray got within that specular highlight, so I'm going to remove that with an eraser. I also want to brighten up this highlight above and to the left of the pupil. Now I'm going to spray this color right over the top, focusing some more of it just below the eye, and then I'm going to use my eraser to start working in this gap, in this highlight area. I want to try to replicate some of the textures that I'm seeing in my reference, so as I'm doing this, I'm using small circular motions with that eraser with a very light amount of pressure so I don't remove too much paint. And as long as I overlap those strokes, you can see that we get a pretty subtle texture in here. It's not too much, but it just helps break up that overly soft look of the airbrush. From here, I'm going to switch back over to the color sepia and start darkening up the shadow values below the eye. I'm just spraying some more paint in there, slowly getting darker and darker with it. I'll draw in some more textures along the lower left-hand side of this, and then I'm going to switch back over to that orange Brown Brazil mixture and spray that over the top. There's a lot of shadow values below the eye. There's also a lot of texture, so I'm using the color Brown Brazil and lightly spraying in some of these shadow values, just the placement of them so I know where they're going to be. This is essentially like blocking in the values at a lighter value, so I can start building up the textures around this later on. Now these shadow values are not one solid tone, so I'm using the color sepia here to darken up the edges of them. Some parts are a bit darker and some are a bit lighter in here. For some of the lighter areas in here, you'll see me using that soft eraser to remove a small amount of paint to brighten those up, and then for the darker areas, I'm spraying some of that sepia in. And once I get those textures added in with the eraser and the airbrush, I'm switching back over to that orange and brown Brazil mixture and spraying this over the top. Another glaze to help darken everything. And again, that mixture is about 75% of that brown to 25% of orange. And after that glaze was applied, I'm going to lighten up a few areas in here. So I'm starting on the lower left-hand side within this gap, this brighter highlight. Hopefully you can see how I'm using my eraser here. It's just very slowly, small overlapping strokes to pull out some light in an area that I want to be brighter. I really want to take my time with this, drawing in all these little details, lightening up some areas, and then using the color sepia to help darken up some of the shadow values within here. And while I'm doing this, I'm ignoring everything else in the painting. I'm just focusing my attention on the textures within this small section. Once some of those are drawn in, I switch back over to that brown and orange mixture and lightly spray it over the top. That knocks all the values down, kind of reduces the contrast, and it gives me another layer to work into. So I'm going to continue using that eraser, drawing in more textures right on top. And I would say at this point, that's good enough for now for this section. We got the eye in place, and then we have those shadow and highlight values below it, starting to look a little bit like fur. It's a lot of work to do here, though. So I'm going to take a break from this part and move along to the left eye. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to get it in place first, and then we'll start connecting everything. And for this eye, it's going to be the exact same technique. The only difference is I'm using the color black, reduced about 50-50 with distilled water. I started with the pupil, got that in place, and then I painted in the darker values along the outer contour. I'll very lightly use this black paint to paint in these darker shadows below the eye, and then I'm switching over to that brown and orange mixture to spray over the top to help get some color in here. This left eye is going to need to be much darker later on, so I use the same color to spray into the iris, and then I'm using an eraser to pull out that very bright specular highlight in this eye, just like we did in the right eye. Below the left eye, we have some darker values in here, so I'm using the color sepia, and you can see that I'm just spraying it around to get some of the edges in, and then spraying it over the top to darken everything. And that hue is kind of cool, so I'm going to warm it up with that brown and orange mixture and do the same thing, spray it right over the top of this whole section. And then for those thinner shadow values, my other airbrush here has some sepia in it, so I'm using that to spray in those as well. Then when I have those in place, I'm going to switch back over to the eraser, and just like the right eye, I'm going to work on that brighter highlight below the eye. Start working at the bottom and start pulling out with those small circular motions. And besides adding the highlights and texture, I'm also using that eraser to refine a few of the edges here, like this shadow value at the bottom that I'm pointing to right here was extended up a bit too far, so I can adjust that edge. Then I'll continue using that sepia color within the airbrush to draw in a few of the darker textures at the bottom and also darken up the right side of the eye and the pupil. Remember that this color is very dark, there's no white in it, so I'm controlling my values by how much paint is on the surface. Like for example, this section right underneath the eye needs to be darker, so a light glaze of this sepia will help do that. But like always, we're slowly approaching that darker value. So from here, while the values are still on the lighter side, I'm going to use that eraser to start drawing in some of the textures within here. And it's probably common sense here because I'm using an eraser, but what I'm doing here is adding light textures on top of dark. You'll see later on for a large section of the nose that we're going to be doing the opposite by using the airbrush to add dark textures on top of light. And a quick glaze of that orange and brown mixture to give me another layer to work into, then back over to the eraser for another layer of texture. And you can start to get a sense in a few sections of this how I'm drawing in a few of these lines to make it start to look like some hair or some fur. Now this female lion is kind of farther away within the photo reference, so there's not a ton of individual hairs. It's more like, clumps or locks of hair. Just underneath this section, I'm going to use the color Cat Orange right from the bottle, and I'm going to mask off the edge with a ripped piece of paper. That way that deckled edge texture gets transferred over. You'll see that I just kind of move that piece of paper around as I spray over it to get it to fit this curve, and this is going to be a placeholder for now. We're going to paint this part later on. But I wanted to get some paint in here because we have a highlight just above it. So if I have some darker values below, you're going to see that highlight a lot clearer. And then I want to get the placement of the back part of this lion just above it. And for this one, I'm using the color sepia. Same thing, ripped piece of paper to spray over the edge. With those two colors in place, I'm going to use my eraser now to work on this transition point, the lower part of this lion's jaw. If you look at my completed painting in this part, you'll notice that there's a subtle highlight here. That's why I added some paint underneath. So when I erase into this, I can see some contrast between the highlight and the darker value behind it. I'll glaze some sepia over the lower part of this, and then I'm going to continue working within this section just below the eye, really adding the texture and the detail that I need in here. And from here, we're going to move along to the nose. You can see I have it drawn in, and I'm using a very light value of sepia. It's reduced about 50-50 with distilled water. And I'm doing this freehand, so I hold the airbrush closer to the surface to paint in the edges first. Once I get those in, then I start filling in the center by backing the airbrush off the surface a little bit more. Then I'll continue spraying the sepia above, and you can see in my completed painting how it's darker on the left side of the nose, so I sprayed some more paint there, and as I go up and to the right, I spray less. This way we have a subtle gradient in here. It's lighter on the right side, and it starts to get darker as it rounds over to the left. And now to shift the hue and darken this some more, I'm going to use that brown and orange mixture, and I'm going to start on the left side, spray some over, and then glaze this paint all the way up right in between the eyes. Just like the color sepia, I sprayed some more paint on the left side where it's darker, and I sprayed less as I moved into the highlight on the upper right hand side. And now it's time to start darkening up the nose. So in this case, that just means spraying more paint. So I'm using the color sepia. This time I'm using it directly from the bottle. And I'm spraying somewhere around 25 psi for this. This is what I'm using for the majority of this painting. You can see that I started with the edges first, and then I'm moving along to the right side to paint in the top part of this nostril. I know it's probably kind of hard to see in my completed painting, but the lower part of the right nostril here is darker, and there's a very subtle highlight just above it. So I started on that transition point where it's darker at the top and sprayed some more paint in there, then filled in the area to the right. Into the area just above it, I sprayed less paint, and what I'm going to do here is use my eraser to very lightly draw on this highlight just above. I'll start on the upper right hand side and then just gently draw on the curve that I'm seeing here. This is a highlight above the shadow. And I'm using the lightest amount of pressure possible because this paint is still wet, so I don't want to fully remove all of it. Just a little bit where the highlight is. And then I'll continue along the left side. You can see I work on the edge first, get that in, and then start filling in the center. Because I'm doing a fair amount of this freehand, there's overspray to the left of the nose, so I want to make sure I clean that up with my eraser before moving forward. For the way I paint, I rarely use stencils, so I do a lot of stuff freehand, so overspray is going to build up in areas that I don't want. So one thing I always try to do is just keep on top of it, remove it before it builds up more and more and becomes a problem. This way it helps me keep the painting clean and tidy so that I don't have more work to do later on. But a great way to limit overspray is the technique that I'm using right here, using a shield to mask off the edges. You can see I'm using it at the bottom here, and then I spray over that. I line it up with my drawing, and that's going to give me a nice sharp edge, and it's going to prevent paint from getting on parts that I don't want. I use it along the top left side as well, and then I drew in that highlight along the right side. Just above the nose, I'm going to draw on the placement of a few of these hairs later on, and then I'll continue with that sepia, working my way around this nose, sharpening up the edges and darkening the value within here. Even though the value of this nose is very dark, there's still transitions of value within here. There's some highlights and there's some darker shadows, so I want to make sure I pay attention to that. So I'll use that soft eraser with the lightest amount of pressure possible to draw in a few more of the highlights, clean up the overspray along the outside, and then pull out that very thin highlight along the upper left-hand side of it. Again, it's kind of like a curve, but it's a bit softer. You can see how smooth the nose looks right now, so it's time to start adding some texture in. So unlike before, this is dark texture on top of a lighter value below it. So I'm using my airbrush, just spraying a bunch of small little dots and textures, just slightly pulling back on the trigger, slowly getting darker and darker. I'm using the color sepia here, just spraying a bunch of small dots and squiggles, and anytime I get some of this in to make some corrections, I use the eraser. What I mean by that is that if I accidentally pull too far back on the trigger and spray a dot too large, or I spray one in the wrong direction, it's really easy to adjust with a light pass of a soft eraser. I can kind of knock down the mistake and blend it right into the painting, and then just continue on. I glaze some sepia over the top of everything, and then I'm going to use my eraser to pull out light textures over the top that I just added in. Some areas that I'm seeing here in my reference photo, either some hairs or maybe some scars on the nose that are just lighter in between these darker shadows. So I just draw them in using an eraser with that sharp point. Within this smaller section of the nose, there's a lot going on. You can see there's plenty of texture in here, but I kept it simple just by using the sepia with my airbrush and the eraser for the highlights. It's kind of like a push and pull, adding some paint with the airbrush and also adding in the darker textures with the airbrush, and then using the eraser for the highlights in between. Now with this sepia, I'm going to hold the airbrush farther back from the surface and spray it into that highlight below the left eye. This way I can darken up the whole section. So if I want a wider part of the spray pattern, I'm holding the airbrush farther back from the surface. And then when I want all these small little details and thin lines, I'm holding the airbrush very close. So it's important to understand that the closer your airbrush is to the surface, the thinner line or the smaller dot you can paint. Let me just show you a quick example of that. After I add some more of the lighter textures in with my eraser, I need to add some darker, thinner shadows along the right side. You can see that in this small spot right here. I'm holding the airbrush much closer to the surface. This way when I spray, I get a tighter part of that spray pattern. I always try to move the airbrush around as I'm spraying so paint doesn't build up too much in one spot. Now as I need to darken up this area in between the two eyes, it's a larger area, so I'm holding the airbrush farther back from the surface. This way I get a wider part of that spray pattern. And that makes it a lot easier to shade a larger area like this. You get an even value in there with that extra texture. And then I'll move the airbrush a little bit closer to the surface for this darker shadow to the right side of this left eye. But you'll see as I'm spraying this in, it's not as close as it was for those very small details I was painting earlier. So the distance from my airbrush to the surface that I'm painting is something that I'm always thinking about. It's always in the back of my head because it's going to dictate how wide or how narrow that spray pattern is going to be. And of course, equally important is trigger control, how far back I'm pulling on the trigger, because the farther I pull back, the more paint the airbrush is going to spray. I'm going to work in this highlight section with a smaller eraser like this and pull out a bunch of very thin strokes next to each other, so it's going to start to look like some hair or some fur in here. Then once I get some of that down, I'm going to lightly spray some burnt sienna in a few parts here. It's kind of like a reddish brown color to help warm up a few areas in here. And I don't want to get carried away with this color because it can get very red very quickly, so I just want to lightly focus it in a few areas, like along the left side and then in the bottom within this texture. And then to finish up, a light glaze of it over this highlight area to make it look a bit more orange. Let's move up to the forehead. I'm using sepia to start spraying in the shadow value within the center. And as you can see, it's not a solid line. There's some breaks in it. It's wider in some parts and it's narrow in other parts. And like I mentioned earlier, for some of the thinner lines like I'm doing here, I'm holding the airbrush closer to the surface. And then when I want a wider part, like at the top, I hold the airbrush a little bit farther back. But because this is only the first layer and I don't want it to get too dark, I'm just slightly pulling back on the trigger. Just like always, I start with less paint, get everything in place, and then get darker and darker as I move forward. Then I'm going to switch over to that brown and orange mixture and start glazing this color over the top. As I'm doing this, I'm spraying some more paint in the center where this darker value is, and then I'm also focusing some more on the upper left-hand side. I like to limit myself to smaller sections of a painting at a time so I don't get overwhelmed, so you'll see here that I only sprayed that paint in the forehead on the upper left-hand side. I didn't spray any on the right yet. This way I can focus on adding these textures in within one part of the forehead. After I added in a few textures, I'm going to use that burnt sienna again to very, very lightly spray it over the top here. Like I just mentioned, this color can get very red if you spray it too much, so just a small amount to shift it more toward reddish orange. From here, I'm going to use the color sepia and work around the eyes a little bit, spray this into the shadow values to help darken them a bit further, especially that area right below the eye. Then I'm going to use that brown and orange mixture to spray into the lower part of the forehead that darkens it a bit more, then use the erasers to start adding more texture on top. And finally, once I get everything in place here, I'm going to use that color sepia for a very light glaze along the top part of the forehead. And so this is where we're at right now, minus that ear on the upper left-hand side. I'll show you how I painted that in next week. But we're able to get the major features of this line in place. We got the eyes, the nose, and some of the forehead in. But we still have plenty of work to do on this one, so I hope you join me back here for the next video, and we're just going to continue it along. So thank you guys all so much for being here. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you picked something up. And just like always, I want to say thank you so much to the very generous support of the channel members, and I'd like to give a very warm welcome to the newest members this week. So welcome back to Wendell, Ryan, Adam C, and Chicken Scratch. And a welcome to the newest channel members this week. That's Will C at a very generous tier 3. Thank you. And a thank you and welcome to Shannon and to Todd. So take care of yourselves, everyone. Be well. Get plenty of time in on your drawings or paintings. And I'll see you back here next time.